Hello, my name is Allie Slinker, and I'm doing a lesson plan for Module 5. The title of the lesson plan is for reading and writing CCVC words, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant words. The standards I have used are for a first grade lesson. This could be done for anywhere from kindergarten to first grade or an intervention for later grades. This one I use the first grade standards for demonstrate understanding of spoken words, syllables, and sounds, and know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills in decoding words. That one fits more with this lesson. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to blend CCVC words, and students will be able to spell CCVC words. And the materials needed for this, the entire lesson, would be a small whiteboard for each individual student. And if you're doing it in a whole group, the teacher would use a whole group, a big whiteboard for the entire class, or in a small group setting, I'm going to be using one of these and a dry erase marker to work with the students on a board that they can see. And also need the say it and move it board, one for each student, and also one for the teacher to model with. So either one that this teacher can project onto the wall if doing a whole group lesson, or one for the teacher to use in a small group setting. I'm going to be doing this in a small group setting with my setup, doing like a 2 to 3 students at a time on this lesson for a small group. And then also the letter squares for letters A, F, L, M, P, S, and T. So letter squares for each student in the lesson, as well as one for the teacher for modeling. So I will go ahead and start the lesson. So to begin, I will provide each student with a move it, sound it board for each student to use, and letters for each student. And now what we're going to do is we will get out all of our letters, and we're going to place them in the circle of our say it and move it board. We have used this before in other lessons. So get all of our letters up into the circle where we can say it. And what letters do we have here? A, F, P, M, L, S, and T. Very good. Those are the letters we have. So now we're going to work on spelling a word with these letters and sounding them out as we move them down. So the first word we're going to spell together is fat. Now we will move the first letter as we say the word. The first sound in fat is F. What letter does the sound go to? F. Very good. So as we say that sound, we are going to move that letter from the circle down to the starting point on our arrow. So the second sound in fat is ah. What letter goes with ah? A. Very good. So as we say that letter sound, we will move it to the next spot in our line. So ah. And the last sound in our word fat is t. What letter goes with this sound? T. T. So put our finger on the T, and as we say the sound, we will slide it down to our arrow. T. And now saying the word together, what is our word? Fat. Very good. And to continue this lesson and get the warm-up going and activating that prior knowledge of making letter sounds, it is beneficial to do a few more words while doing this, such as mat, sat, sap, map, and lap, that we would work together with the students on, just activating that prior knowledge and getting those letter sounds ready to go on learning the new skill of the CCVC words. So now we will pick up the letter squares to prevent distraction with the students, and pick up our sound cards. We will set these aside. You guys did very good on that, and now I think we're ready to move on to the next skill. You guys will be able to work on words, longer words, some CCVC words. Today I'm going to show you how to sound out words, and watch and listen as I blend the sounds of this first word. The first word I'm going to do is slam. So as I start, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to hold out the sounds of each letter for a couple seconds until I point to the next letter. So I will start with S, L, A, M. So what is this word? Slam. To slam a door means to shut it very hard. When you slam a door, it usually makes a loud sound. Slam. Let's try this with one more word I will model to you guys. And watch as I hold out the sound until I point to that next letter. Listen to me as I do that. So I start here, and I'm going to hold each sound for a couple seconds before moving on to the next sound. T, A, trap. You may be trapped inside. Trap. My mom sets a mouse trap. Very good. All right, now I'm going to have you guys do one with me. This word I'm going to lead you in sounding out this word. As I point to the letter, remember, and slide under it, we're going to hold that sound until I point to the next one and slide under that. We'll hold each sound for a couple seconds before going under the last. So our first sound is, very good. Let's try that one again. The sound for F is, let's all do it together. What is the sound for F? Okay, let's continue. Very good. O, A, T. What is this word? Flat. Very good. When something is flat, it is very smooth. Our tabletop is flat. Let's do one more word together. Remember, we will hold each sound for a couple seconds until I point to that next one. So we'll start here and we'll go P, O, A, N. Plan. Very good. Now it's your guys' turn to sound out these words by yourself. You guys are all doing a very nice job. So the next word we're going to do as I slide my finger from letter to letter, remember to hold that sound until I get to the next side of that next letter, where we will then pronounce that next letter sound. So let's begin here, everyone together. Very good. So in that part, I am listening to my students say these words, and I am no longer guiding them. They are doing this on their own. So as we say the word together, flag. Very good. You guys did a nice job of blending those sounds without pausing between the letter sounds, putting it all together to blend that. Let's try one more together. Or not together. You guys on your own. Ready? The word is clap. Very good. We like to clap for each other. You guys are doing a great job with sounding these letters out, or sounding these words out with the letter sounds and segmenting them together. The next thing I'm going to do is show you how to read these words without saying each of those sounds so that we can read them a little bit quicker without going through each sound and holding it for that long. So this one I will do with you guys. We just worked on this one. So now that we know we're fresh on our letter sound, I can do this. Listen as I do this quicker than when we did it in the past. We went trap. If I want to do this a little bit quicker while reading so I can get it done faster, I'm going to go trap. So I'm very quietly to myself or in my head thinking of these letter sounds and then putting them together in a word. So now we're going to do this together. I'm going to lead you guys in reading these words without saying the sounds out loud. So as I point to the loop and under the letter, we'll sound out the word to ourselves quietly. We're not going to say these letter sounds out loud together. We're doing it in our head quietly and then saying the word out loud once we have that done. So quietly. Snap. Very good. You guys are doing very good at that. We like to snap in music class. And in a regular lesson, we could go through and do a couple more examples with this, with words such as flat and other words if I feel like students are needing a little bit more guidance on that. But now I think you guys are ready to do this on your own. I'm going to write a couple words on here. Depending on students and the amount of board, you can write a few more and get done a couple more. So as I go, I'm going to point at a word and very slowly go or very fast go through it and then point under it. As I drag my finger under it, I want you guys to say the word out loud. Slam, very good. Flat. Slap, very good. I think you guys are getting a hang of how to do this. You guys are doing a great job at getting these words and being able to read them quicker without having to individually sound out each letter sound. And to go along with this lesson, if you're in a small group setting or a whole group setting, it would be beneficial for an authentic learning task to have these students reading those emergent reader texts and get in those texts that have these decodable words that they can use that strategy with of sounding out the letter sounds and blending it together. But for this example, I'm not going to set up using those emergent reader texts, but it would be beneficial with having real students in your classroom. So now we're going to work on some word work. I will hand out a board to each student and a dry erase marker to each student. And on our board, we're going to spell some of the words that we have just blended together. Let's do the first word together. Again, we're going to model the first one with the students. The first word we're going to do is slam. What is the first word we're going to do? Slam. Very good. So let's count those letter sounds. And as we count the letter sounds, I'm going to hold up a finger for each sound that we say. And let's determine how many letter sounds we hear so that we know how many letters we're going to write when we write this word. So together, slam. How many letter sounds? 4. I hear 4 letter sounds in the word slam. So now we're going to spell the word slam. What is that first letter sound that we hear? S. Very good. L. L. A. A. M. M. Very good. So our word is slam. All right, now together we are going to do, you guys get your boards out, and let's do this next one together. We are going to do the word flat. So let's sound that out and think of how many letter sounds we're going to have. At. How many letter sounds will we have? 4. Very good. So everyone grab their marker board and your marker and write these sounds as we say them. At. Flat. Does everyone have 4 letter sounds written down? 4 letters? Now look at mine and compare to yours. Does yours match? At. Flat. Very good. It looks like everyone did a nice job of spelling those words. To go ahead and keep going on with this lesson, there are many other CCVC words that we could work on with these students of sounding out, making sure to count out the letter sounds, and then putting the letters with the sounds onto the board to increase spelling. If you come across words that would need to increase vocabulary, make sure to go ahead and explain or provide a definition for those words to the students. And for a special education lesson, for modification on a special education, my hint would be to, or my tip would be to split this lesson into maybe 2 to 3 lessons on separating these so that those students can work on mastering each skill before moving on to the next, making sure they can master decoding each of those letters with their sounds before they work on writing those. Splitting this up to work on mastery for those students. The English language learners, they may have trouble with the S-blend words since there is no S-blend words in the Spanish language. They do not have that, so they may use a long A sound instead. So my idea to help with the English language learners would be to use words such as grim, drip, frog, glad, club, words that aren't going to use those trick S-blends to help those students understand the CCVC words and getting those down without having confusion of those. And then moving into that once they have mastered the skill of segmenting the CCVC letter sounds and getting the written down before introducing the next step. The gifted and talented students, they may not need as much modeling from the teacher during these lessons. Maybe one model and then having them work independently and seeing how they do. And if you feel like they're needing a little more instruction, go ahead and provide that to them, but maybe take a step back and not model as many examples for those students and let them see how they catch on to it. If some students are past the CCVC, to make it a little more tricky for them and a little more challenging, maybe to use some CCVCC words where they're having a couple different of the consonant blends that they're going to have to figure out, such as quack, craft, champ, stamp, drink, crash, different words that use the combination of consonants that they would then have to figure out. And that is my lesson on reading and writing the CCVC words.